Gone are the days when a budget gaming monitor would really only give you some RGB and flashy gaming design. These days, the market is flooded with very good gaming monitors under the $200 or £200 price point. Pixio is one of the companies within this market space, and they have been releasing some very compelling models over the past few years, starting with the PX247, upgraded recently to the PX248 Prime, and then a faster version of it called the PX248 Pro, which is the one that I have here for review today. All of these models are 1080p 24-inch gaming monitors with 1 ms response times. However, the PX248 Pro behind me has a 165Hz refresh rate versus the previous model's 144. It also has a better color performance. However, the brightness is less than the PX248 Prime. That was 400 nits max, and this is 300 nits max. Let's have a look at the unboxing and design. In terms of what you get in the box, it's fairly minimal. There are no frills here. Everything you need is here in the box. You do need to assemble the stand. The power supply is very simple. It's just a socket with no other brick. So nice and light, nice and simple. And the stand feels very sturdy. Included in the box is also a DisplayPort cable, which is nice. No dramas with assembling the stand. You just have to put the legs together and screw in the provided screws. Once that's done, you remove the monitor from its packaging, and it's a fairly standard VESA mount clip-in, so no further screwing required. So all in all, a very simple unboxing experience. In fact, at this price point, for you to even get a DisplayPort cable included, it's very nice of them. The design of the monitor is actually quite good. Firstly, the stand. It has all the functionality you need from a monitor. It has a lot of height adjustment, and it goes full vertical, not just in one direction, but in both directions. I don't know why this is a problem for some manufacturers out there to give. It's very annoying when you can't turn it the other way around. You don't know whether it's stuck or not, but this goes both ways. And it clicks nicely into place for the vertical positions and back to the horizontal positions. So you're not always adjusting it, thinking that you're not quite centered or you're not quite vertical or horizontal. It's clicked into place and it's not going to go anywhere. Absolutely love this feature. Well done, Pixio. As far as the monitor's design goes, it's a very standard design these days that I think LG started, but it works. A fatter bezel or chin at the bottom, and a very simple bezel design that almost blends into the main panel. No issues here. This is the right design to go with. Absolutely perfect in terms of how the screen looks. Fairly simple access to the ports behind. We have 2 HDMIs, a DisplayPort. There is also an audio jack. No issues here either. And finally, the monitor comes with its built-in speakers. Now, these speakers are not anything to write home about. They are very standard speakers built into a monitor. And I can tell you from my experience, because I've been moving, I didn't have access to my speakers for a long time. Using this monitor with the speakers was super convenient. I actually really appreciated having that speaker in there for the odd times when I couldn't get my headphones on or I couldn't have my speaker around. It's a nice feature to have. So let's talk about the in-game performance of this monitor with regards to its speed and response times. So it is a 1 ms gray-to-gray response time monitor, and it has 165Hz refresh rate. And that is what you call a very fast monitor. If you think back 3 years ago, anything above 144 Hz was considered extremely fast. And you're now getting that for 100 or less than £150 here in the UK at the moment. That is incredible. With that speed, normally you'd get a lot of motion blur or ghosting. But on this monitor, I am thoroughly impressed. It did not show or I did not notice any concerns with ghosting whilst playing a lot of very fast-paced games, including Doom Eternal and Call of Duty Warzone, which I play a lot. My KD actually went up. So I'm thoroughly impressed with this monitor. I did not... This is how much I enjoyed using the monitor in terms of the 24-inch fast-paced, fast performance. I actually stopped missing my Alienware OLED. I'm not saying I'm going to switch to this monitor because of that, but the fact is that this is a no frills, no worries monitor. the response time and the motion blur performance, it's excellent. Really, really well done to Pixio on the whatever they've done with this monitor in terms of tuning its performance to increase its speed. So let's talk about some other performance factors. Brightness. It is a bit low on the 300 nits max versus its predecessor also, which was 400 nits. And I'm guessing they had to reduce the brightness of the screen to increase its speed performance. To be honest, I'm happy with that. If you're really into gaming and that's what you're buying this monitor for, then you can do things to take away sunlight and reduce the brightness in your environment to make the most of its performance. However, if you've got ghosting or a slow monitor, there's nothing you can do. You have to live with that. So I'm happy with that. I understand it. At this price point, 300 nits max, not a problem for me. Contrast ratio, very good. I've been used to using an OLED monitor, so I'd be prone to notice it. But this is a good contrast ratio spec. And it shows when you're in game or watching movies or whatever you might be doing, it performs well in this place. From a colors perspective, it covers 134% sRGB and 98.9% DCI-P3. This is a very good color performance. However, you do need to change some settings. Out of the box, the preset calibration isn't great. There is going to be another video of what to do with those settings, all of those settings. So please do give us a like and a subscribe and watch out for that video. Finally, let's talk about backlight bleed. If you're going to buy an IPS monitor at any price point, I mean, I had a very expensive top-of-the-line Odyssey G7 VA before this. Backlight bleed was a problem on that. Consumer Sam has a monitor from a very good, reputable company, LG, and he has backlight bleed. Does this monitor have zero backlight bleed? No. All I will say is that the backlight bleed that I found on this monitor was average to below average in terms of how bad it was. I only found the non-uniformity in the black levels when I took some pictures and videos for this review. Never noticed a concern before that point. So it's not that at all anywhere close being as bad as you know, something that you notice during normal use. So not a problem for me. In terms of the menu system, it's fairly intuitive. Nicely laid out, and the interaction button, no problems, left, right, up, down, and clicks to select. No issues. I do have one gripe here though. Every time I select one of the user presets one of the presets, it always gives me this annoying message that I'm about to change the settings. And it will keep on doing that for any settings I change wherever I'm navigating. This is very annoying. I hope Pixio you can do an update to your future models or a firmware update to this to take this message away or give it once or twice or thrice in one use, whatever it may be. I really don't need to be reminded over and over again. It just slows down my experience around the menu. So that being said, overall positive, good, fast gaming monitor, not a lot of motion blur concerns, not a lot of color contrast or light backlight bleed concerns. Excellent design, sturdy stand, good inbuilt speakers. Menu interaction could have a slight improvement. At this price point, excellent monitor. But what else out there could you buy? Well, in terms of competitors, you do have the Benq Ex240. It has VRR, variable refresh rate, motion blur reduction built in as well. So it's got all of those features. And it's known to be a very good high-performance monitor for a very good budget price. However, it has slightly lower color performance in terms of its coverage. The other two options, in my opinion, there are a lot of options, but I'm just picking out three that stand out. One is the Gigabyte G24F. It has very similar specs, but it's priced slightly higher than the PX248 Pro. And it has no speakers. And then if you want to go VA, AOC's got an offering. They have the C24G1A. And that's a curved monitor VA panel with a definitely higher contrast ratio, which is what you get with VA. But the price point, again, is generally higher if you can find it in your country, and it doesn't have a speaker as well. So there are some pluses and minuses across all of these competitors, but what I'm finding in terms of direct competition with similar specs at this point in time, because Amazon is selling these for less than £150, this monitor beats all of them in terms of value for money versus performance. So conclusion verdict from me is that if you are in the market for a monitor for less than £150 here in the UK, and $160 is the cheapest I found in the US, this is an excellent monitor to go for, and it should be shortlisted, if not the selection you make for your next gaming monitor. Thank you for watching.